Well, it's exciting to be going here and still playing football, and our guys are really tuned into it, as they should be, and we all deserve to be. It's a terrific matchup. You know, you played a team that's this good and in your division and with this much familiarity. This is really a chess match in a lot of ways for the coaches. It's just ball for the players, but a lot of respect for who we're playing and how they've done in their season and the guys they have on their team and what they've accomplished. It's you know, being division champs is a big deal around here, so we understand that. We'll let you know about some of these guys. You know, as you ask your questions and all. There's some guys I can't help you with yet, but we're feeling pretty good. We got guys that play the spots and guys that have done some good things for us, and so we're gonna go down there raring to go.
Pete, when you're deemed a pretty substantial underdog, as you seem to be, winning odds, do you embrace that?
We're underdogs.
Was that?
We're underdogs.
So it seems. Yeah.
What about that?
As a coaching challenge, do you like that? You know, is that something you could?
No, I have no idea what those numbers are, those points or anything. No, I don't care about that. I mean, it's you know, by the end of the week there'll be enough clamor about it, so we'll hear what everybody's thinking and all that. But that really doesn't play a factor in this.
Given the way this 49ers defense plays and potential weather conditions, what gives you the most optimism about that run game that you've seen the last few weeks?
Yeah, we're going to need it. You know, both teams are going to run the football, and we need it, and we need to run it well. You know, and take care of the ball too is part of it. If it's they're talking, you know, cyclone-like or whatever the weather is down there. I mean, I can't believe Northern California is getting hit like this, but you know, it's going to really come down to taking care of the football.
What do you see as the 49ers' identity?
Oh, it starts with their defense. It has for a number of years. They've got a great group over there. And it goes right to the guys up front. You know, and Freddie running the whole show there. It's their style of play and their success. You know, the #1 defense in the NFL and all that. That's the way I see it. And I don't know how they see it, but that's the way I see it.
Are they similar to the Harbaugh teams from like the early 2010s?
Yeah. Yeah, but they have their own. You know, I mean, I don't see it that way. No, they're good. You know, they're a good team. I think they're Kyle's team. You know, totally. And he's got his logo all over this thing. You know, style of play, emphasis, consistency, and all of that stuff. And the players that they choose to play with and all that. It's really unique to them.
What stood out about Brock Purdy when you saw him in person a month ago?
That he's capable. It's not too big for him. You know, it doesn't seem like he's got the rookie learning curve to deal with. You know, and he obviously is getting coached really well, but he's taken to it and he's utilizing the guys around him. You know, he's got a terrific cast around him. He's playing that point guard position really to a great extent. That it's all part of why he's been successful. He's got great guys around him, but he's doing it. You know, he's still getting it done.
Turnovers. When you're playing a team that's good, how important is being cleaner across the board than maybe you were the first two times?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, that's how it goes. You know, look at the ball game last night. You know, it got to be a blowout, but you know, +3. That's all you need to get that kind of win. So the ball will be the whole issue.
Deebo Samuel didn't play in that Week 15 game. How does he change the options they have?
He's a great player. He's multifaceted. You know, and we've played him enough. We've kind of watched him grow up and become the real threat that he is. He can do everything. You know, he's a fantastic player with the ball in his hands, and they certainly know that, and they do a good job of getting it to him.
You played Alexander Johnson some at linebacker in the game the other day. How did you sort of feel like the linebacker
I liked him. He did. Yeah, I thought both guys did well. You know, we wanted to make sure that we could keep Tanner involved in special teams and all of that, and get a chance to see Alexander. You know, he hasn't played football in a long time, but he's a hard, tough, thick guy that did his part. I thought he did a nice job first time out.
He's got 124 tackle season in Denver under his belt before. Like, do you see that experience come through with him and him out there? 30-something
starts too. You know, he's played a lot of football, and it was part of the thinking. You know, with you know, all that was at stake, and Tanner, you know, starting his first game really, and just thought that it would be good to have that kind of experience to come off the bench, and it would be important again this week.
Cody finished the season with like 130-some tackles. First year as a starter. Now he's taking over a different role. Just What have you seen out of him, especially in the latter part of the season?
Well, if you remember, there was a time, I think it was after the bye, and we were talking about it, and he just felt like he took a step back, looked at the whole season, reevaluated what was going on and how he was playing, and he thought he saw some things that he could do better. And he has done better, and he's just been more accurate with his fits and more precise about taking blocks on in the right manner and using the technique that applies and fits. And he really has improved. He's done a really nice job.
It seems like he had a pretty good game Sunday in particular.
Yeah, he was all over the place. He did a good job. Not as many tackles as sometimes. I think he had 7 or something like that. But still, it was a really effective game, and he was where he needed to be and made the calls for the most part and helped guys out and played the play caller like you like. And he did a good job.
The play he made early in the game where he sort of recognized something in the flat, is that where he's at his best, do you think?
I mean, he was just in coverage, man-to-man coverage on the play. If the one I'm thinking about, the tackle on the sidelines, that was, he did everything right. He was in the disguise. He knew his assignment. He popped out of it knowing exactly what he was vulnerable to, and kept the play to be like a 1-yard play on 3rd and 3 or something like that. It was a great tackle.
Is he seeing the game different, and that's just a maturation of
yes.
him?
Yeah, I think that's really what I think he took advantage. I think that's kind of how he would explain it, that he sees it a little differently as once he took the break. Sometimes it takes a whole off season, but for him it took 1 week, which was really cool. And he would tell you that the game is clearer to him now, and he's able to understand, and it's not all first time mystery that it is for young guys sometimes. He's really become more accurate with all of the stuff he has to do.
How challenging a play was that 3rd down play to come from where he came?
That one in particular? It was. Yeah, he had to do it exactly right. And he held his disguise, he did what he needed to do, and he knew right what he was vulnerable to and right what he had to jump to get it done. And it was a perfect play.
Seems like you're using Kobe Bryant. I mean, like he had the sack the other day and stuff like that in a lot of different ways. Are you able to use him a lot more now, kind of this late in the year?
Yeah, we were able to do everything in the package now. He's, like you said, past the halfway point or so, a little bit maybe beyond that. We really realized he's really coming into it, and so it's just about trusting him that he's been through enough experiences, so that he could make the right choices and decisions. It's so much. He's got so much to do, and there's so much going on in that spot that it just takes a while, and he'll continually get better at playing the nickel spot.
How's Ryan Neal doing?
He feels much better. He's not going to work today. We'll just see how it is tomorrow.
With Tyler Lockett, he's talked before about maybe having more freedom this year to kind of read coverages and react to that on the field, maybe a little bit more than he has in the past. Do you think that's maybe allowed him to kind of take his game to another level in some way this season?
Well, I think he took his game to another level a long time ago. Look at the consistency that he's demonstrated over the years. But what he's saying is he's feeling better about his stuff that he's doing. He's more confident. He's more aware. He's seeing more than ever. I don't think he's that much different than he's been, other than how he feels, and he's more confident about that. Which is awesome, to know. And he's really such a tremendously poised competitor in the games. He can talk about everything. He can recall all that just took place and help the coaches understand, and I'm sure help Gino too and the other receivers. And he's just amazing, all that he offers us.
You talk about this being a chess match for the coaches. Does it require a different level of discipline, particularly on defense? I'm thinking about the play called Kittle in that Week 15 game, the way that they used McCaffrey this year. Just the different things they can dial up.
Yeah, they are such a good team, and they're so well schemed that they really do tax the opponent. They do it in many ways, and that was that week. There'll be something else this time around that we have to deal with. And so we know that and anticipate it, and sometimes they get us, sometimes we get them, but I say that about the chess match thing because I have so much respect for what Cal does and their whole style of play and all that they've developed over the years. So it's going to be a good challenge.
When you think back to that Thursday night game against them here last month, what stands out to you? What do you take away from that matchup?
That we had 2 huge plays that, other than they scored 21 points in the game, and 2 of them were, one was 50-something, and the other one, the screen over the middle, that we could have easily made them play us without those plays if we just would have executed right and see what happens. So it might have been a different game.
You expect Phil
facilities to practice this week?
Not today. Let's go today.
How was Gabe playing the whole game?
How did Gabe play?
Yeah,
he came out quite well. He looks good today. He's ready to practice and all that kind of stuff. So that's a good sign. He got through it. Abe as well. You didn't ask about him, but I was really fired up for Abe that he made it back and through it and comes back this week and feels good about it.
What's the most challenging aspect of their defense?
They don't fool you. They just line up and they're running their scheme, and they've got some things that they do. They pressure, rarely, but effectively. But it's just the fact that they're so consistent at what they do, and you have to beat them. You have to block them. You have to make them miss you. Because they're going to be in the right spots and they're going to execute really well. The linebackers really. The experience that they have in concert with their guys up front, it makes them really accurately right where they're supposed to be so consistently, and it's tough. You have to really do well to get anything on them.
Carroll was talking after the game about the influence Bruce has had on him and just some things he's learned. Outside of what Bruce has given you on the field, just what's he brought to that position group in terms of his experience?
Yeah, John, I think it's really the kind of what you might hope it could be from an experienced guy coming back who's been around the block and all that. He has the willingness to help others, and to talk about it and share his story and all that. And he realizes that he's the older guy now, and so he remembers. I've heard him say it. He remembers when he was the younger guy and he was looking up and guys were kind of helping him along. And this is a different stage of his career, more obvious to him now coming back here, I think, than the last couple stops. And so he's giving us. He's competing in that way. He's giving us everything he's got, and he's made himself available to guys. Whether he knows these guys very well or not, he's trying to help them, and so it's really a big positive for us.
What makes Bosa such a matchup nightmare?
An extraordinary athlete, one. He's got great feel. Probably his best asset is his motor, that he just keeps bringing it, and he plays so hard and so aggressively. So you put that together, you got, he's a monster of a guy to deal with.
You mentioned this a little bit yesterday, but did you message this week and the playoff week in a specific way for your young guys?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Do you anticipate that they will feel any additional pressure this week?
I do think that they could. I do feel that anybody can, but if you deal with it and you put it in the right place and you give them, a mentality that how to handle it, we have a chance to not let that be a factor against us. Some of it's great. Some of the juice that it brings, to play. This is freaking awesome to play in these games. And that's all good, positive stuff. But you got to make sure and you handle it and channel it properly to help you, and it doesn't become a distraction or hit on the focus.
I think it was mentioned yesterday about Shelby Harris being his first playoff game this week. What has he provided or brought to you guys this season?
He's brought an experienced player. He's a smart player, and he has a lot of. He's had the experiences that he's grown from, and he can talk about it in the style and of play and style of other teams and settings. And when you go to another place that he's been a couple times, Kansas City, he had a good feel for how that was going to go, and he's been willing, like Bruce has been willing to share and be open about it, and it's been helpful for us.
To the simplicity of San Francisco's defense, how does that manifest itself in how they cover DK and Tyler versus some of the attention that maybe other defenses give them?
That's a good question. Well, they have their ways. They pretty much make you beat their defense, though. They've got enough variety in their scheme that allows them to have some answers, to do stuff. But they're pretty much going to play what they play, and they're going to rely on the rush to be the factor. Is kind of how they do it. So they're not as exotic as some other teams, but yet they have their ways.
You called Purdy sort of like the point guard model. Well, what beyond just the volume of pass attempts per game does that mean, like playing the role of point guard?
Not over trying, He doesn't try to carry the load all on his own shoulders. He's got guys that can make plays for him. So their offense is structured to get the ball in the guys' hands, and they're really quick with their throws, and ball gets on the perimeter a lot quickly, to give guys a chance to catch and run. They're a really effective catch and run team. If you look at their yardage after catch, they're as good as anybody's been. They're for a couple of years now, they've been really good at it. Good players for one, but also the scheme, puts them in those situations. And it hasn't really changed with the quarterback changes. That stat and that factor has remained. So that's system and that's coaching.
Is there anybody that's on IR, D'Esco? Is there anybody that can come back this week? Or
D'Esco's going to practice today. Yeah, he is officially going to be on the field. He was out there in the walkthrough today, and it's great to see him back.
Damian Lewis and DJ Dallas going to practice?
DJ's not going to go today.
Thigh?
Yeah.
What did you see of the 26 snaps from Boy Mafe?
He just keeps doing good things. He's making positive plays athletically and smarts-wise. He's really come along. He's, like we'd like to tell you, after the first half of the season, he's been playing as a rook, that we can count on him to be a regular starter. He can play with the starting group in any situation right now. And whether it's the Russian stuff or playing outside backer, he can do it. And had a great speed rush in the game last week, and then a second effort to get him a sack, and he factored in on some other edge plays that were really nice. So he's doing really well.
What do you think of Jonathan Abrams' performance here Sunday and how he's kind of
Yeah, Jonathan's he's fitting in. He's doing a nice job, and he's learning the stuff and communicating and taking advantage of the scheme and the system and all that. Yeah, he's a good competitor to have on the field. He's really feisty and fiery and all that, and plays tough and brings a good juice.
How do you measure the Bruce Irvin effect on Boy Mafe? I mean, just that.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that necessarily, other than it would add confidence, and he would feel more, in command of things, because he's got big brother to lean on over there and ask questions of and all that. It's kind of settled his mind. I would think we can see that he's playing better and more effective, and it looks like his confidence is growing. That might be the biggest factor that would be obvious.
Did D need hand surgery?
No.
What could he add if he's able to get back this week?
Well, he's an explosive player. He's got a lot of firepower. That's as he's always had. He's been out for quite a while, so it'd be a lot maybe to get him back this week. But first I got to see him in practice. I haven't seen him in months. It seems like 6 weeks or something.
To be where you guys want to be at the end of the year, what would you say maybe going to be the one or two most important factors, the things that have to happen?
Yeah, we're going to have to really play really connected football. We're going to have to do it all. We're going to have to run the football. We have to take care of the ball. We're going to have to eliminate the big plays on the defensive side and give our guys a chance to rush the passers, so we can see the pass rush that we've been seeing last month or so and throughout the season. We're going to have to play off one another. Really have a great deal of confidence in what Jason's going to do and what Mike's going to do in the kicking game. Those guys are on it. Our kicking game is really solid, and that's going to need to maintain. Godwin's given us some good firepower, on returns, and we're still getting some stuff out of DJ. So that all of those factors, if you were going to measure us on the DVOA scale from this point forward, we need to be on top of that thing. And so that means everything's got to function, and so we're capable of doing that. So we'll see if we can carry it. We just got to go 1 week, and then we'll go to the next one.
The jump that Carroll and Boye had made the last little bit, has that been as important to anything for the way your defense has kind of flipped a switch down the stretch?
It's certainly been a factor. It certainly has been a factor. We've had a lot of hits on the quarterback. We had 24 pressures or 25 pressures last week, and all of it led to good stuff. I don't know, we probably had 8 or 9 sacks in the last couple of weeks, so they're a big factor, but it all fits together. But man, we need those guys on the edge. You always do.
Anything else? Thank you.